Am I ever ready
Hi.
to do Harry Potter? Hi.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
What's up?
I don't know.
I think I'm allergic to my new hand, so
Shoot.
look at this little
Ooh, yep.
itchy rash
Your skin
going on.
wants to not agree with whatever it doesn't want to agree with.
That's true.
Ugh.
Okay.
Ouch.
Let's put this out too.
Oops.
Pam says that she does watch, but she usually watches on Patreon, and she's like, why do you guys never know I'm there? I'm like, you gotta click through to YouTube. So hi Pam, if you're here.
If you're watching on Patreon, click the link.
Click the little
Click the
arrow
YouTube
in a
link
corner.
And come over, because that's the only place where we can actually watch and do at the same time. We don't want to take away from Patreon. We like it when you watch there, but you know. Okay. I don't need this. I had the Turninger off. Don't need this anymore.
Where did my binder go? I took it over here. Haha, I'm not ready.
Boop. You were readier than I was. But I think I plugged
Hosting is half the battle.
I plugged it into the computer today, which
Oh, good.
that was something I kept telling myself to remember to do.
Mm-hmm.
Remember plugging things in?
Remember USB cords?
That's going to be our next podcast.
For plugging things in. Do we just keep these? Are all the things I plugged in this
Remember?
week?
I unplugged my straight iron when I was done using it.
Love that. That's for the break. This one's for chapter 12. Oh. Just to say Merry Christmas. That's my update.
Oh, okay.
Because it comes out on Christmas.
Right.
Good remembering.
Okay. And we do have somebody who needs to be sorted, but I did not properly write it down and everything. So I'm just going to wait to do that till next time. And I'm going to try to get more people to tell me their houses between now and then. So.
Cool.
All right. Boop. Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah. Hello. Where am I?
Somewhere.
Somewhere.
Where does it do? This?
Oh.
This? No, that? What is
Are they
this?
plugged into each other okay?
What do you mean?
The one that goes from here to there. Boop to boop.
Yeah. They're really tight in there. Hello? Why didn't anybody ever teach us about sound?
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, everything.
Is the one on the back solid?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, I heard a da-da-da.
Yeah.
This is weird. That button wasn't supposed to be pushed, was it?
No.
Okay.
I'm nervous.
Oh, I'm not going to unplug anything. I'm just going to make sure everything's in. That's what she said. Shoot. Is it something on here? Should I do something? Is there like a boob or like a boob?
Oh. Microphone. Scarlet.
Aha.
Not computer.
Oh, I wonder why that must have just been like an accidental.
Sometimes it just resets.
Weird. Okay, now I know.
Hello.
Audacity's like, hi. What? God, I've been trying.
Here.
I've been trying. My poor little computer was like, I'm doing my best. Never good enough for you. I'm going to take a drink before I start. Oh, it's your line.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Look at Adam's cute little iron giant that he drew.
Okay. No one, not even someone dreading taking Polyjuice Potion later, could fail to enjoy Christmas dinner at Hogwarts. The Great Hall looked magnificent. Not only were there a dozen frost-covered Christmas trees and thick streamers of holly and mistletoe crisscrossing the ceiling, but enchanted snow was falling, warm and dry from the ceiling. Dumbledore led them and a few of his... No. Dumbledore led them and a few of...
I have faith in you. I know you can do it.
Dumbledore led them and a few of his favorite carols, Hagrid booming more and more loudly with every goblet of eggnog he consumed. Percy, who hadn't noticed that Fred had bewitched his prefect badge so it now read Pinhead, kept asking them what they were all snickering at. Harry didn't even care that Draco Malfoy was making loud, snide remarks about his new sweater from the Slytherin table. With a bit of luck, Malfoy would be getting his comeuppance in a few hours' time. Harry and Ron had barely finished their third helpings of Christmas pudding when Hermione ushered them out of the hall to finalize their plans for the evening.
I can't wait to talk about all of that. So much to say.
Mm-hmm.
I finished my whole notebook.
I love that.
I do too. It makes me very happy.
Nothing like a full spiral-bound notebook
It's
to bring you joy.
so satisfying. Oh. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
This is Marin.
This is Emily.
And this is
Remember Harry Potter.
Yes, the best Harry Potter podcast on your feed. Today on Remember Harry Potter, we are talking about Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Chapter 12, the Polyjuice Potion. The big one we've all been waiting for.
The Christmas spectacular.
Will the potion work? Let's hope so. What happened last time?
Oh, a dueling club.
The dueling club.
A snake talk reveal.
And another attack.
Double attack.
On the worst possible person to be attacked, to be honest.
The one person who everyone's like, don't let Harry next to Justin.
I don't blame anybody for thinking that Harry's the heir of Slytherin.
Justin is pretty ballsy, though, because everyone's like, stay in the common room. Like, we'll go do your homework for you with all the gossip, but you stay here. And, like, his friends have left him for, like, 45 minutes, and he's like, I'm going to go anyway.
Is he on his way to the library?
I don't know where he was going or where he was leaving.
I love him.
All I know is he was in the hallway, the dark, deserted hallway.
I'm not a huge fan of Justin. I think if I knew him in real life, I'd be like, oh, shut up. Like, literally stop talking, always. But I don't mind him so much as, like, a peripheral character. I'm like, that's funny.
You can lay in the door,
the corridor.
The corridor. And you can also lay in the hospital wing. That's fine.
So where we left off, Harry. Sorry, hold on. I simply must remove that one piece of skin from my lip before I move on with my life.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So Harry and McGonagall are taking the stone spiral staircase escalator. We need one of
The
those.
stair-scalator. The spice-scalator.
Yes, the Spice-Clater. I'm going to have a lot of sidebars. I'm going to try to keep them real small, but that's not fair. This is a class thing.
Oh, yeah, because, like, Harry walks in and he's like, this is the biggest and best office I've ever seen, but, like, what about equal offices, Dumbledore?
Not only that, but, like, how do Dumbledore and whoever else get a spiral-scalator, and now the kids have to walk up 25 flights of moving stairs every day? It's not fair.
True. Good. Excellent point.
So they get up to Dumbledore's chambers, and they knock on the huge oak door. And McGonagall leaves Harry alone there.
It's fine.
No, it's not. Stop.
MBD.
People need need to stop leaving Harry alone. Period. He needs constant supervision.
Well, she couldn't take him with her to go get Dumbledore from his bubble bath, you know?
Yeah, no, I do know. I thought about that. I thought, what is Dumbledore doing? That she's like, stay here. Like, literally stay here, Harry.
Mm-hmm.
Do not come with me. Do not follow.
She could have sat him in a chair. I feel like had Harry been offered a seat, he probably wouldn't have been so inclined to wander.
He does wander because he looks around and he's like, whoa, I know I've been in lots of teachers' offices this year, but this one's the best. He's too scared of being expelled to enjoy it very much, but he looks around anyway. And first of all, it's kind of like a Shapiro's, where there's just like, you take the little thing and it has 4 balls hanging, and you take one and it goes click, 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 click. There's like 400 of those types of things sitting around the office, but they're all magical. They all have a spell on them. And Harry's like, this is pretty cool. And then he turns and he sees the Sorting Hat.
Ooh.
And he literally, he has words for this hat, right? He grabs it. He's like looking around. He's like, are all of the old headmasters asleep? Yes, they are. He grabs the Sorting Hat and he puts it on. It's still way too big. He's just like sitting and waiting patiently in the dark of the hat until it says, be in your bonnet, Harry Potter. And Harry's like, yeah, I was just wondering. And then the hat guesses that he's wondering if he got sorted correctly. And then it's like, yes, I stand by what I said. You would have been great in Slytherin. And Harry's like, the fuck? Fuck you! Takes the hat off, puts it back on the shelf. Now, Harry is understandably upset about this little exchange. But Harry, like, he did not give the hat a chance to explain itself. The hat is a storyteller. We know this. The hat makes up his whole job is to tell a story. He makes up a new song every year. He loves telling a story. So he's like, I stood by what I said. You would have been great in Slytherin. However, but before he could say, however, you were meant to be in Gryffindor and I did a good job and I was right to put you there. Harry's just mad and takes the hat off.
Yeah. I have a new idea for the Sorting Hat.
Okay.
Send it back to school. Let it get its license. Have it become a psychiatrist.
Oh my gosh.
Let all the students put on the hat to work through their ish. And the hat will just be like, I know you. You're doing your best. Maybe
Honestly,
try this.
Oh, that's so good.
Because, like, what better than just, like, a magical object who, like, his real actual job is to, like, figure out the essence of a person and put them where they're going to succeed the most.
Oh.
So it's like the hat already has the skill to, like, read someone very deeply. So I'm like, give him a better job than to just sit on the shelf for a whole year to think of a next song, you know?
I literally don't know why this is making me feel so emotional, but I would love a hat right now.
A sorting therapy hat.
Right?
Yes.
And it's fine, you know, I can wait a week between sessions. Like I need, but just like for like an hour, put that hat on my head an hour a week and let me just.
And you don't have to like say out loud what it is. You just like think about it and the hat's like, I got you.
So
you know?
good. I love this so much.
Sorting therapy.
Anyway, I just wish that the hat would have led with, Harry, you are in the right house. 100%. I did not make a mistake. I do not make mistakes. He didn't. He led with the wrong. He buried the lead and it was too much for Harry to take. Yes. So he tells the hat, you're wrong. And then he's just feeling awful. And then he hears this gagging noise from behind him. Imagine.
When in Dumbledore's office.
And he like slowly turns around like, do I want to see? Will you read the description of the bird?
Standing on a golden perch behind the door was a decrepit-looking bird that resembled a half-plucked turkey.
Oh, poor fox. He's decrepit-looking, half-plucked turkey. Oh.
Harry thought it looked very ill. Its eyes were dull, and even as Harry watched, a couple more feathers fell out of its tail.
And Harry's like, oh God, I hope that bird doesn't die while I'm in here all alone. And then guess what? It dies. It just straight up dies while he's in there all alone.
bursts into flames. And Harry's like, ah. And he's also like, where's a cup of water when you need to put out a bird?
Who keeps a cup of water on their desk?
No one.
No one. He didn't know about the pensive. He could have just picked up that thing.
Here's some memories.
He's just like, oh my gosh. And then and only then, Dumbledore decides to show up.
Conveniently.
Amen.
And where did McGonagall go?
Mhm.
There's obviously a back way out of his office, or she was like, you just drew that bubble bath and you didn't get in? Don't mind if I do. My office doesn't have a 12 claw-footed tub.
No, it doesn't have the best tub in the whole castle, but it doesn't matter. This one's finished and ready.
Mm-hmm.
Glistening bubbles. Some are floating around the room.
A little harp strumming in the corner.
All of them are rainbow. And she's like, Albus, give me 1 hour and 45 minutes. Do not come back till then. He's like, I'll take care of the boy. So he shows up, and Harry's like, I swear I did not kill your bird. And Dumbledore is like, oh, you didn't. Fawkes is a phoenix. It is a gorgeous, amazing, powerful bird. So a phoenix is a type of magical creature that can carry great heavy loads. It has magical tears. Like if you get
Stabbed.
mortally wounded, it can save you. And the cool thing about it is that it dies because I think it's kind of the beauty of the phoenix is that like everything dies in life. But like jobs, people, our relationships, like everything dies. And the beauty of the phoenix is that it teaches us that even in a like scary, painful, horrifying death, you can be reborn into something else. Your relationship can be reborn. Your job, like everything about your life can be reborn. I love the phoenix. It's a great mythology. It really makes me happy. It's such a like comforting, magical creature to have in my head. I love a phoenix.
I do want to point out something about this sentence while we're on it.
Mm-hmm.
So Dumbledore's describing all of Fawkes' features, and he ends with, they make highly faithful pets. And faithful is italicized.
Yeah, I thought about that too. I was wondering if because I was like, I don't have time to write out all my thoughts about this. So yeah.
Yeah, I find it curious that someone such as Dumbledore, of course, wants a very faithful pet. I wonder what shady shit Dumbledore has Fawkes doing for him,
Well, I mean, he uses Fawkes just like he uses everybody else. This is a spoiler alert, but like way in the future, he uses Fawkes to help him literally escape from Hogwarts. And there is a huge fan theory, and it's not true. It's just like it was a theory before we knew that Dumbledore had actually died, but that he was Fawkes somehow, and that he had become a phoenix and like died and then been reborn. But anyway, it's that is very interesting.
Because it's like Fawkes can literally heal wounds, and luckily you don't ever have to have another pet in your whole life because this one just keeps coming back.
Yeah.
And it's super faithful to you. So
very cool.
I definitely think this pairing fits.
Absolutely. And then he's like, it's too bad you had to meet him on a burning day. And I'm surprised that Harry's still standing up. But I guess he's been through enough trauma that he's just like, I'm just going to stand here in shock for a while. And Dumbledore does not think he petrified anyone. Like, we learn this because what happens next is Harry's like, I swear to God, I didn't attack anybody. And Dumbledore's, like, oh, Harry, I bit you. And then suddenly the door like slams wide open and it's Hagrid and he's freaking out. He's probably got Rooster swinging in his hand. And he's like, Harry didn't do it. I swear I'll stand in front of any judge in the world. And Dumbledore's like, Hagrid, I know Harry didn't do it. And Hagrid's like, oh, okay, bye. And he leaves. And Dumbledore's like, I know you didn't do it, but I still think we should talk. And then he proceeds to do the Dumbledore thing where he's like, let's talk, and then doesn't talk.
Well, what he does is very Dumbledore-ish, where he He doesn't even tell Harry what he wants to talk to him about. He just says, "Is there anything you'd like to talk to me about?" And then stares at Harry while Harry thinks about every bad thing that's happening and he doesn't want to talk to Dumbledore about. But because Dumbledore can read his mind, he now knows all the things that Harry doesn't want to say to him, which is super manipulative.
He definitely sat there and used his occlumency skills on Harry.
Mm-hmm.
It's so rude.
Yeah.
And Harry, like, so he didn't get a chance to, like, and of course Harry, he's like, I'm not going to tell anybody. I can hear voices. I wouldn't tell anybody for a million galleons. Like, never am I going to tell anybody. But now Dumbledore, because he's Dumbledore and he can read minds, whatever. And so then he's like, okay, bye, which really sucks because at this point, Harry does need somebody to tell him that that's okay and it's not bad. He needs Dumbledore, most of all, to be like, is there something weird? Like, have you, like, I heard that you can speak Parseltongue and that's okay. The same thing that you said last episode where it's like, I speak like 100 languages. It's fine. No, none of that. None of it. No communication at Harry's, like, most needed communication time. It's so, so sad.
Oh, yeah.
So he doesn't offer up anything. So literally nothing is figured out at all. Harry's just sent on his way.
Yeah, Dumbledore just used this as like an information gathering.
I hate it so
Chat.
much. So back at chat. So back at school, everyone is absolutely freaking out about the attacks by now. So there's like a mad rush to get out of the school for Christmas break, and only a few people are staying for Christmas, including the Gryffindor trio and what I'm going to now refer to as the Slytherin trio.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until literally this morning that Draco found his own two best friends. He's so obsessed with these guys. It's annoying. So Harry's glad. He's like, it'll make it easier to get info. Plus, once everybody's gone, I won't be like being picked on at every single freaking moment of my life. Because what's happening is he's like walking through the hallways, just minding his own business, going to class. And people are literally like hissing at him.
I was going to say, did you guys know the Cullens are at Hogwarts this year?
Rosalie is just like, poor Harry. But it's so cool because our boys, the twins, my boyfriend and his twin brother are being Harry's bodyguards hilariously. They're like walking in front of him as he goes from class to class, screaming, "Make way for Slytherin's heir!" And like the funniest things. Percy is like super embarrassed and pissed off about it. And every time Ginny sees them do anything like that, she just starts wailing. Wailing is the word. Like, she's crying, sobbing. It's a nightmare for her. Harry likes it. He's like, this is great. I think they're funny. He loves seeing that they think it's ridiculous. Malfoy, he hates it. And they're like, Ron's like, it's because he thinks you're getting credit for all of his work. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful little thing. Yeah. Hermione doesn't care about any of this. She's just super excited because the potion is almost ready.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So finally, it's Christmas break. And Harry is loving that the only people left in Gryffindor Tower are the trio and the rest of the Weasleys, because then they can all be as obnoxious as they want to be.
Oh, yeah?
It's like the Burrow times 1,000,000 because it's so big and nice. And so they can just play Exploding Snap. And I'm sure the twins are just singing and running around. And Percy's so annoyed that he just like keeps taking off. It's really great. It's so joyful. So it's Christmas morning, and the boys, of course, are sleeping in because that's what you do. But Hermione, nope, she's super excited. She runs into their dormitories. She pulls off their blankets. She's opening the curtains, and she gives them their presents, and she proudly announces that the potion is ready and that they should do it tonight. And then so cute. Remember how Hedwig got really mad at Harry and Ron about the car?
Oh, yeah.
And she like flew away. Well, as far as I can tell, she hasn't talked to Harry since then.
Right. Yeah.
She's probably just flying in and it's a drop of a letter and they fly away. She's like, I'm not talking to you. But she flies in and it's Christmas and she gives him a little nip. And he's like, oh, are you talking to me again? And it's really sweet. And then she gives him his present from the Dursleys, which is a toothpick and a letter saying, can you stay for summer too?
A toothpick.
Good grief.
Very cool. I want to talk about the timing of the Polyjuice potion
Okay.
because when they began it, Hermione knew exactly how many days it would take before it is ready. And it is very odd to me that they do not plan on when to use it until the day that it's ready.
It is
So
weird
I know Hermione knew this whole time.
that it was going to be ready on Christmas Day.
Of course, she planned it on her calendar. She has, this day needs these ingredients. This day, it's color-coded. Like, she has a Polyjuice calendar in her notebook, right?
Okay.
But Harry and Ron don't even consider it. So the mental load that Hermione is carrying with
Yes.
this potion is intense, and it makes me so mad that Harry and Ron put absolutely no thought whatsoever in how to execute this.
Okay, then let's talk about this because
yeah,
this is a theme throughout the rest of my whole chapter.
it made me scream the whole time.
Okay, so she not only has she gotten the Polyjuice potion perfectly ready on Christmas Day, and Ron and Harry are just like surprised. So obviously they haven't even paid attention at all to what day it was going to be ready, and they're like, "Doesn't that sound dangerous?" And she's like, "No, it's the perfect night." So one thing that happens right before all of this is that Harry got a bunch of awesome presents for Christmas from his friends and the Weasleys, and when he gets his present from Mrs. Weasley, he's like feels this super like big pang of like guilt about their car. But since it's Christmas, they get to enjoy the best dinner of the year. It's so funny, and Hermione's completely right because all the teachers and all the adults are getting totally smashed.
Mm-hmm.
So they're distracted because they're all like wasted and hanging out and having a yummy dinner. They're singing carols. Percy gets really mad because everybody's making fun of him because his prefect badge says Pinhead that he doesn't know, and it's real funny, so he leaves. Draco's being an asshole. All is well. Hermione is super excited about the evening. She does this other thing where she has to remind them, Emily, that part of their job is to get a bit of the person that they're turning into, and they're like surprised again. They're like, "Wait, that sounds gross," and she's like, "Don't worry, I've got it all figured out." So not only did she get it ready on exactly the day, and they haven't listened to her that this was the day.
I'm sure
she said it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's the day. She reminds them that they've got to get a bit of the people, and they're like, "How the heck are we going to do that?" And she's like, "Don't worry, I took care of this for you." Not only don't worry, everyone. Hermione has it all figured out. Those are the words I wrote. She knows that Crabbe and Goyle are the best choice. So she also made a sleeping draft and baked some cakes.
Literally made another potion and a baking.
Above and beyond making the Polyjuice potion and doing everything else and doing all her homework and making sure that the boys are taken care of with their homework too and making them presents, blah, 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 blah. She chose the two people that they had to get because they weren't going to think about that. Mm-hmm. And then she made a sleeping draft and cakes. So she could drug them and take a bit of them for the potion. The boys are like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so worried." And she is like, "I am not worried at all." And they're like, "Whose bits have you stolen?"
Whose bits?
And her plan is actually really awful. This is like the only place where Hermione kind of falls apart. Because what she has done is like when she was in the dueling club and had that big like wrestling fight with Millicent, after she was done, there was like a little piece of hair on her cloak. And she just assumed that it was Millicent's hair.
A cat hair and a human hair are very different hairs.
They're very different. I would never look at a cat hair on my shirt and be like, "Oh, this is obviously my child's hair." No, Hermione. I just feel like it's part of her being like too overwhelmed with like all that she has to take care of. And boy, do I get that. Yeah. Where it's like, I'm the one taking care of like all this shit. It's like, no wonder I let my own stuff fall through the cracks.
Oh yeah, it's the classic. You get 95% of everything done, but that last 5% bites you in the ass.
Yeah, dude. So she's like, "I got this piece of hair, and I know that she went home for Christmas, but I'll just tell them I came back." No, that's not gonna work. Why? You came back at 11 o'clock at night on Christmas night?
How?
No.
Also, when real Millicent comes back, they're like, "Why were you just here for 1 hour Christmas Eve and then you left again?" She'll be like, "What are you talking about?" And then it'll be this huge, like, doppelganger situation.
So I just wrote fine, period. So mostly the plan is going to perfection. To the boys' surprise. The boys are like actually surprised. The idiots, Crab and Goyle, actually do eat the drugged cakes and pass the fuck out.
That they left on the newel post.
Yes, I love that so much. Harry and Ron, they like drag these huge boys and shove them in a closet, and then they steal their hair and their shoes.
But why only their shoes as well?
It's so
like,
stupid.
If you're gonna go out of your way to get the shoes, you would think that they could put two and two together and be like, oh, we also need bigger robes.
They don't think of it. They don't take Crab and Goyle's robes. And I'm like, I understand, like, it's really smart to take the shoes. Well, what are you going to do when also your robes are tiny and you're like the Hulk or like your pants ripped?
They're doing like 12% of what they need to be doing.
So they go back up to Myrtle's bathroom, and of course Hermione's in there like feverishly working away. She's got the potion like perfectly finished. She also made sure that she grabbed bigger robes from the laundry.
I'm sure she got shoes too, but then she looked and saw them. At least they got the shoes.
So she's made sure that she got new robes. She's got the potion. She got the people. She got the sleeping draft. She got the cakes. This is all Hermione. They didn't do anything. And I'm going to get more into what they didn't do in just a sec, because it's even more infuriating than any of this. So she's like, you only have an hour. We only have an hour, so here we go. She takes the 3 cups that she also made sure to bring with her, and she puts a little bit of potion into each of the cups. And she's like, go ahead and put your bits of your people in the potions. And so they do, and they kind of like gross out, and then Harry's like, I think we should do this in 3 different stalls, because if we turn into these guys in here, we're all going to be stuck. So they smartly go into the 3 different stalls, and they count to 3 and they drink, and it's a horrible transition. Like, not only does the potion taste terrible, but they also get immediately sick and fall on the floor, and the pain is excruciating, and it's radiating from every part of their body. And then their clothes are way too small when they get done. Like, they didn't take their shoes off before they changed.
They didn't take their shoes off before they changed.
Good to scream about it.
They're like, 100%. I just wrote, y'all dumb AF.
They are. They're so stupid. And I cannot chalk this up to them being 12. Like, they're just idiots.
They thought of getting different shoes, but didn't think of taking off their current shoes.
I know a lot of 12-year-olds who would have thought of all this, including Hermione.
Mm-hmm.
So, it doesn't take long, and once it's done, it like stops hurting, and it's actually perfect. Like, of course, Hermione made the perfect Polyjuice potion. Everything worked out wonderfully. Ron and Harry, as Crab and Goyle, step out, and I'm sure are very happy that it worked. And one of them even says, unbelievable. I think that's because they look just like the people, but I'm like, you got to realize that this is unbelievable, because that was like the hardest thing anybody at your school has ever done.
Uh-huh.
So they know they need to go. And guess what, everybody? These guys never, in all of the 2 months that it took to make this Polyjuice potion and do this plan, they never once took the time to learn where the Slytherin common room is. Didn't even think about it. Didn't even consider that once they were Crab and Goyle, they would have to go down to the common room. Cool, huh?
I
can't.
No words. It's just so stupid.
They're so awful.
They would have deserved it if they spent Hermione's perfect potion just wandering around the castle for an hour.
I wouldn't have felt bad for them at all. And they basically do that. So let's see. Oh, I'm so mad. Okay. So they never took the time to figure out where the Slytherin common room is. It's infuriating. Anyway, they say they need to go. They've already wasted like 5 minutes just staring at each other. And Hermione's like, I'm not coming. And they're like, oh, we don't have any more time to waste. So they have to go without her. and she refuses to come out anyway. So honestly, these idiots are infuriating. They don't know where they're going, and they don't have a plan either. They literally don't even have a plan. They're like, I guess we just have to find the common rooms and then I guess just like ask Draco. No plan. No plan. Not.
They don't even do a stupid plan, like go back to the Great Hall where probably some Slytherins still are, and they're like,
No.
someone was asking for you in the dormitory. It sounded urgent, but I don't know who it was. So that person would get up and go to
Honestly,
that they could follow.
Here's a bigger problem. They don't even know who any of the Slytherins are. They see this random girl and they're like, will you tell us where our common room is? Which is like the stupidest thing ever. And this girl's a Ravenclaw and she is fully offended. She's like, fuck you. I'm a Ravenclaw, and like walks away, and then they still don't know what to do. So they just literally wander around for who knows how long until they see someone and they're like, oh, there's somebody. But guess what? It's literally Percy Weasley. So they're just like downstairs wandering around the castle and they see Percy and Ron's like, what are you doing down here? And of course he thinks that they're Crabbe and Goyle. And he's like, I'm a prefect. Don't ask me what I'm doing down here. Yes.
Is the girl they ran into Penelope? Is Penelope a Ravenclaw?
I don't know.
Or her Percy getting it on down there?
I thought.
And she just left a couple minutes early and was like, why are you here before you follow?
Maybe, yes. Maybe. Why were they downstairs though? Because nobody's going down there?
Yeah.
Because there's only 3 Slytherins that stayed.
Yes.
So he thinks they're Crabbe and Goyle, so he just yells at them. Of course, though, he would have yelled at Ron and Harry too.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. They're about to have a fight with Percy when Malfoy, luckily, literally by the grace of Carlisle Cullen, comes sauntering up to them. And Percy is super offended that anyone would be rude to a prefect. Like, he's also thinks it's him. He thinks Percy Weasley thinks that being a prefect makes him invulnerable to being attacked by the heir of Slytherin.
Yeah.
What a pompous ass.
Oh yeah.
Like that's the most like white man privilege I can imagine.
I have a
now.
title, so I am better than you.
Yes.
Like what?
I'm
A
white.
monster doesn't give.
I'm older than you. I've got power. I'm not going to get attacked by this thing. What? No, it's so annoying. So then the new Slytherin trio and Percy part ways. Malfoy leads them down the hallway to a wall, and he's like, what was the password again? Oh yeah, pure blood. I'm confused.
Who's making these passwords?
Not only is it the worst password I can imagine, and you know it's like the prefect of the Slytherin house, but like, does he really not remember it? Is it brand new? Did they just tell him earlier that day?
They might have changed on Christmas.
Maybe.
I don't know.
What is it again? Oh yeah, pure blood.
Why are they being enabled to be terrible people?
It's just literally the KKK down there.
Yeah. And Dumbledore's like, yeah, Snape, you can just give them whatever fucked up passwords you want.
It's so bad. So anyway, the wall opens up and they go into the common room. And he's like, wait here while I go get it. My dad just sent it to me. You'll love it. And I'm like, the fuck is he going to go get it? So he comes back with a clipped out from the newspaper news article. And he shoves it under their noses. And he's like, look at this. Isn't it hilarious? And it's a news article about how Arthur Weasley has been fined a whole bunch of money for his muggle car that had been bewitched. And also, he has been called to resign from the ministry. And when they went to interview him, Molly Weasley is so badass that she was like, get out of here, I'll send our ghoul on you. Love her. So Malfoy, guys, he just is getting more and more obsessed with the Weasleys. It's embarrassing at this point.
He's obsessed with all 3 of them equally for different reasons, and it's so weird.
It is so weird and inappropriate. Like, this is just like the scene at the bad wizard shop at the beginning of the book when Lucius is like, totally obsessed with the Weasleys, except that it's Malfoy and his buddies. It's Draco and his buddies. So he's like, I'm totally obsessed with the Weasleys, and I don't understand why you guys aren't laughing. This is so funny. And then Ron's like, oh yeah, oh, I just have a stomach ache. But of course, Ron is like, shit. Like, I did not think about that. Like, my dad could lose his job. I'm totally devastated. So then we get this whole monologue from Draco about how his dad is trying to get Dumbledore sacked, and the Daily Prophet isn't reporting the attacks at the school. And then we learn that for some reason Draco has a personal problem with Colin Creevey. He's like, go upstairs and kick those mudbloods for me. And he's like, and can you believe they sent garbage like that Creevy to the school? And I'm like,
It's because he's offended that no first years are obsessed with him like Colin is with Harry.
Because then he's like clicking a pretend camera, like, oh, Potter, let me take pictures. And I'm like, why are you so obsessed with me? Like, he's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And if I could never be friends with this person, because all he wants to do is talk about these people who he doesn't like.
Yeah. You know, I do have to say that I agree with Lucius here, because he's like, Dumbledore's the worst thing that ever happened to Hogwarts. And why is the Daily Prophet not covering these attacks at Hogwarts?
Yeah, obviously.
True.
Obviously, Dumbledore is doing something to hide the fact that it's happening, because it is weird that the Prophet isn't reporting on it. It should be reported on. If something like this was happening at my kid's school, and my kid just like, for some reason, whatever reason, didn't tell me, I need to know.
Yeah.
And so are the parents not being told too? Because like, for it to not be reported when it's like kids are literally being petrified, that's a big deal.
You take all the students out of the school until you fix the problem.
None of this is okay. Period. So, we learned that, okay. Malfoy puts on his like, all the Gryffindors are idiots one-man show. But Crabbe and Goyle like totally aren't impressed. And Malfoy just keeps going and going. And then we learn that he has zero idea who the attacker is. He finally like says, like, he's like, I don't know who it is. Like, I've told you I don't know who it is. And my dad won't tell me anything. And my dad just keeps telling me to like keep my nose out of it and just let the attacker do what they're doing. And you know what I really hope? I hope that the next victim is Granger. Yeah, I'm sure you're not completely in love with her. I'm sure you're not wanking off under your sheets at night thinking about Hermione Granger.
Yeah.
Draco Malfoy. Good Lord.
Yeah, this kind of like clarifies to me that his dad, like, the only thing that Lucius knows is that this diary unleashes a monster in the school that goes after Muggle-born students.
Yeah. I mean, we've already,
So that's
mostly
like,
have already talked about how he doesn't actually know what's happening, but he's going along with something anyway. But where is he getting his ideas from? You know?
Yeah.
It's really weird, because it wasn't him writing in the diary, and then the diary was like, make sure I get to Hogwarts. Maybe.
We don't know.
I don't know. So when Ron hears that Draco is in love with Hermione, he almost kills Draco. But Harry's like, stop it. And Malfoy just keeps like babbling on and on about how the last time the chamber was opened, the person who opened it probably got sent to the wizard prison Azkaban and is still there. And that Lucius tells Malfoy to keep his head down and just let the attacks happen. And that also there have been ministry raids on the Malfoy Manor, which they live in a manor. I don't even know what a manor is, but it sounds pretentious.
It's big.
It's gross. But the ministry has been raiding their house, just like we thought at the beginning of the book, because they've got tons and tons of like really dark magical items there. And suddenly Ron looks at Harry and just goes, ugh. And then Harry looks at Ron and is like, oh, because they're turning back into each other. Like their hour's up.
Yeah. Right as Malfoy's talking about how when they were at their house, they didn't find much,
Ugh.
but they did find some dark arts artifacts. And they're just like, well, you can have 3, but if you had 4, we'd have to bring you in. Like, what?
That sounds about white.
Yeah.
To
But
me.
Draco tips off Ron that they didn't look under their drawing room floor.
Oh, yeah.
So Ron's like, thank you, Malfoy. And then Harry's like, your bangs are orange.
Your nose looks real long. So they're like, I have to go get medicine for my stomach ache. And they run upstairs and they finally get up to the bathroom after they've like ditched the shoes and stuff. They're glad that it wasn't a total waste because they did learn about like the drawing room floor secret and that Draco doesn't actually know anything. It's not him. And they're all back to normal by now. So they're like, all right, Hermione, come out. And she's like, heck no, I'm not coming out ever. And Myrtle like comes out and she's all giggling and she's like, it's just awful. And then Hermione finally comes out and poor baby, she's got her robes like pulled up over her head. Just like, did she do it like collar up or
Yeah.
like bottom up? I don't know.
Well, she can't let those paws be seen either.
So she's like collar up above head. And they're like, what is going on? And finally she puts her robes down like a little bit and she's got cute little black triangle ears and little black fur all over her
Some
face.
Eyebrow whiskers.
Some little whiskers. She's got big yellow lamplight eyes. She's a cat. She turned into a cat. She goes, it was a cat hair. She's just crying. And she's like, animal hair is not for polyjuice. And Myrtle is super rude. But, guys, sweet, sweet Harry Potter. He goes, you know what, Hermione? It's okay. Let's go to the hospital. Madame Pomfrey hardly ever asks any questions. Remember when Pomfrey let Ron get away with being bit by a dragon for like 2 months?
Yeah.
They know. They're going to take her there, and Pomfrey's going to be like, oh, dear. This is going to be hard, but I can take care of this.
Yeah.
And so they head off to the hospital.
Yeah. If you guys want to hear a really good discussion about Madame Pomfrey's decision making about telling and not telling things, you should go listen to Harry Potter and the Sacred Text.
Yeah.
Because they did this episode literally this week.
Yeah, we're
And their
on the same schedule as them right now, and it's only for a limited time.
Yeah, but their combo was really good.
Yeah.
So go listen to that.
100% give my support to that too. They're wonderful. So that's the chapter. It goes really well for the most part. I mean, there was a little snafu of Hermione turning herself into Millicent's cat. But they did learn a lot. And we also were just like more than confirmed that Draco has an unhealthy obsession with these 3 kids.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like it at all.
He's like, Hermione is the only one smarter than me in all my classes. She can go fuck herself with me.
With me, herself with me in the room.
Harry is so popular, and why didn't he choose me to be his bestie? I don't know. Fuck him.
I tried so
Also,
hard.
I'll watch. And Ron has the exact family I don't have, all these siblings, and his dad actually pays attention to him, so fuck all of them.
And his brothers are so funny, so fuck them with me at the same time.
It's hard to be Draco.
It has to be. He's miserable. Oh, man. Anyway, I cannot wait to get into the rest of this book.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So our next chapter in the book is chapter 13, The Very Secret Diary, which happens on Valentine's Day.
Aww.
So we have quite a bit of a break coming up between now and our next episode, and we've decided to take a little bit of time off so we can wrap up this year, plan out next year, catch our breaths, fold our laundry.
Oh my goodness.
You know, So we will be away for just a couple weeks, but we'll be back with that chapter in February.
Yep, and I can't wait. And right now we're going to go record our Patreon only Patron episode. And so we will see you guys in a little while. And until then,
let's create something magical together.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, no, that's not the right one.
Bye, nobody. Or maybe Pam on Patreon.